I'm Congressman Kevin Brady. Today I'm joined by Congressman Michael McCaul, who's one of the leaders on the Homeland Security Committee. I serve on Ways and Means. We want to talk a little about energy in Congress, going back to work. As you know, Congress today comes back from a 5-week vacation they didn't earn because they didn't do anything meaningful on lowering gas prices here in America. I spent August both like Mike, in Washington on the House floor, asking the Speaker to call us back into session, to come back from vacation, give us a straight up or down vote on energy. But today, and I also spent the August listening to our school districts and our law enforcement agencies as they told me what harm and damage these high fuel prices are doing to them. Schools are cutting bus routes, not buying new buses, ending extracurricular activities in sports, cutting bus routes for tutoring in the afternoon, and it is a major struggle to continue to educate our children with these high gas prices. And we're seeing law enforcement who are fighting hard to keep their proactive policing going on because that's the area where they're seeing the biggest cuts and the biggest impact of fuel. But the question we have as Congress heads back to Washington, there are two questions that Speaker Nancy Pelosi must answer. The first is, will you continue to stand in the way of the American public who wants a straight up or down vote on more exploring here in America, in our deep ocean waters and in our Arctic Reserve? And the second question she has to answer is she willing to shut down this government in order to protect the moratorium against offshore exploration? On the first one, this is a democracy, not a dictatorship. 70% of the American public supports more exploration here in America. They support drilling in our deep ocean waters and in the Arctic Reserve and throughout the Midwest as well. And the Speaker has said that she is not going to give us a straight up or down vote, but possibly one that's tied in with poison pills that really have no meaningful effect. She's mistaken to do that. And secondly, the moratorium on exploring off our coastal waters ends September 30th. As the fiscal year ends. Her aides have indicated that she's going to try to, in effect, blackmail the president by putting that extension in with some must-pass legislation, such as keeping the government open through the end of the year. I think that is a terrible mistake. We ought to let that moratorium expire. Again, the American public supports it, and so do the members of the House. With that, let me introduce Congressman Michael McCaul. He has a congressional district that runs from Austin to West Houston. Again, while pricing and the economic impact of oil and gas is a major concern, with our 70% dependency on foreign oil, Homeland Security is a major concern as well. Mike is a leader in that effort. Mike McCaul.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate your kind words, and thank you for your leadership on this very important issue as you serve on powerful committees like the Ways and Means Committee. Last month, Speaker Nancy Pelosi shut down the House and went on vacation. But she can't shut down the will of the American people. And we have gone back to our districts, and we have heard from the American people directly. And I've talked to my farmers, my ranchers, my small business owners, the schools, the police departments, fire departments, and let me tell you something, they are hurting. They are hurting, and they want action, and they want action in the Congress. And the time to act is now. We have a bill, the American Energy Act, which is a common sense energy bill. It's all the above. We need all forms of energy on the table. But most importantly, we need to make that energy in America. We shouldn't be importing it from the Middle East. We need to make all types of energy in America. And it provides incentives for alternative energies, for solar and wind and hydrogen. It also takes a look at nuclear power. When you look at countries like France, of all countries, which is 80% nuclear powered, it can be done environmentally safe and sound. We should be doing that in this country. And then lastly, as Kevin mentioned, it also provides for drilling in these areas that Congress has placed off limits for decades. Offshore drilling in Anwar. This would provide billions of barrels of oil to the U.S. economy. This energy policy is hurting our economy. It's the largest transfer of wealth outside of the United States, and it needs to change. We are returning to Washington, D.C. after we've talked to our people to tell Speaker Nancy Pelosi to allow the American people through their representatives to vote up or down on this bill. The thing is, this bill has enough bipartisan support that if put to a vote tomorrow, it would pass. And there's one person who's stopping it from passing, and that's Speaker Nancy Pelosi. So we're going to have that fight. We're going to have that debate in the House, and it's a healthy debate and a good debate for the American people. And lastly, on the issue of national security, this is a dangerous policy. When you import 70% of your energy from the Middle East and then from countries like Venezuela, these are not our friends. They don't have our best interest at heart. And ironically, we are financing the very elements that we are fighting. We are financing terrorism through these high gas prices, which is hurting the American people and our troops abroad. I hope as we come to remember and to never forget the events of September the 11th, we will take a serious look at our national security policy and our energy policy and change that policy in the Congress the remaining weeks that we have left.